Hi, I want to welcome you to a Flip Beach Party. How much fun would you have being able to create videos like this for your students? Or on the flip side, see what I did there? How would you like to allow your students to be able to create videos in a fun, robust way? Let me tell you just a little bit more about Flip. Hi, and welcome to this video about Flip. Now, maybe you've heard about Flipgrid. That is what was, I don't know. Flip was formerly known as Flipgrid. There's just a few changes, just a little bit of a change in the look, and this is what we have. So we have a comfortable, familiar format that has had a facelift. So you'll find that a lot of it is the same, but we'll still go through the process so that you're sure that you can feel more comfortable with it. And if this is your first introduction, ignore all that stuff about Flipgrid. We're looking at Flip. All right, let's get into it. So when you go into Flip, and you'll notice at the top, this is info.flip.com. If you had typed in there www.flip.com, it would still take you to this page. So don't you worry about being able to get here. It is ready to go for you. Here's a little blue banner that shows up. Flipgrid is now Flip with exciting updates coming soon. Read more. You have the ability to be able to read that, look at that, but that is letting you know about this change. Let's get into Flip. First thing you're going to need to do if you do not have an account, if you have an account already, proceed as you would with Flipgrid to be able to get in. If you don't have an account, let me show you what you can do. Here is sign up. Now this is for the instructors to be able to sign up. Your students do not need to create an account. Your students will only need, see how it says get a join code? Will only need a join code from you once you create the account. We'll get there though. We'll talk more about that, but let's just start with signing up. If you don't have an account, click sign up. So when you have this login opportunity, it gives you this chance with continue with Microsoft, continue with Google, or continue with Apple. I'm going to advise you to use your Google. It's important if you use your Delaware Tech credentials. This is one way to be able to do that with clicking Google here. We'll click that. It will have you choose an account, whatever account you have that you have as your Delaware Tech Google account. There are some reasons for that. Also, it helps with some connectivity, things like that. But it really is, because it's your professional account, might as well use it with Dell Tech account, right? You'll get to a dashboard like this one. Now, when you get into your account, you can see that I've created quite a few groups, quite a few topics. Yours will be blank if you haven't done anything with this yet. The first thing that you can do is be able to create a group. This is with this group button, plus group, create a group. Now, this is something that's new with Flip, is I want to know what kind of group you're creating, because Flip is doing this thing. It's trying to be just a little bit more community oriented. It has been really widely used in the K-12 universe and has been growing in use in higher education. But also now they're advertising they can do, book clubs, other kinds of personal things, as well. There are several choices here in the type of group that you would choose. Most likely you're going to choose classroom. When you choose classroom, it does want to know what kind of level your students are. Choose the one that you find is most appropriate for what you're trying to do. This is where you get to name your group. So you will go into the name field and be able to name that group. This will be, for my purposes, Flip Info Video. You get to choose a theme and you can play around with that. Then you have the option to decide how people can join. You can decide that they can join with a link, and it can be anyone who has the link. That is fine. If you want to keep a lockdown on your Flip for your students or for your course, you can decide that only people you approve. So the difference is, for instance, if for some reason someone shared that link, then anyone could come into the course. So you have to decide what you're doing with your course, what your purpose is. Does it matter? to have outside people involved. If you're trying to keep it locked down into Delaware Tech involved people, you can choose to approve everyone, or you can choose to have them join by email. If you choose to join by email, or you can choose to have them join by email. If you choose to have them join by email, in this space, you would type the domain at dtcc.edu. The value of that would be the only people who could get in would be people who were using Delaware Tech email addresses. The drawback of that would be if you think that could complicate access for any of your students. So again, you're trying to decide what your purpose is and what the best approach is for you. Once you have decided that people can join and how they would join, so you're going to use this Create Group button. After you have selected that, you will see Share Group. Now, this is how you get to give this group to your students. You do have a few options. For instance, this is a QR code. You could click there. You could give them this QR code. So if you put that into your course, whether that's online or in person on a flyer, they use their phone and they scan this QR code and it takes them straight into Flip. The nice part about it is that they do not have to download anything. They would merely need to use this code to be able to get in. If you've locked it down at all as far as who can access the course, then they probably have to enter their email address. You also have options to invite students by link. So you don't have to memorize this, of course. You can just hit copy link and now it's on your clipboard and you put the link into your course. You have further options as well. This is a really nice one. Copy the embed code. If you click that, now it's invisible. It's in your clipboard. But you can use that embed code in the same way that you use embed codes to put videos into your course and other things that you might try to embed, such as thing links. If I'm mentioning anything that you would like more information about, thing links, Padlets, or videos, we do have some reference guides for those. See the comments for some links to those. Also, we have anyone with the link can join. You can change that here as well if you had second thoughts about how you wanted people to join. Then once you have the information, you can close this box and this is your group. Now, anyone can respond here. If you were used to Flipgrid before, it created a topic here for you that was about introducing yourself or having your students introduce themselves. This is now a general because it's kind of moving away from always being that classroom related. If you click on the general, really it says a space to share anything with your group. This is where you can edit this topic though, so that it can be what you want it to be. Here are some more buttons over here on the top. Edit topic. Now it says general, but if you want to say something like nice to meet you, maybe you want to use Flip for your introductions. You will then put the description in here. Your description might be introduce yourself. So maybe you've put in there some information about how to introduce themselves. For instance, tell us about your course of study or your major. Tell us about your pets or family. They can let us know what you want to learn in this class. You decide how you typically would have students introduce themselves. That does come up with an image already. You can get rid of that image. You can put a new image if you want. You can have no image. You have choices here where you can add information. You could add an image here. You can record your own video, which is a nice touch. You could make an introductory video here of yourself or one explaining how to complete this task. You could add a Bitmoji or an emoji, and you can even add GIFs if you think that one of these is the best one for that introduction. You have one more choice to make also. 1 minute, 30 seconds. That is the recording time for this topic. You need to decide how long do your students need. If you choose the drop-down menu, you can see that they can have 15 seconds to 10 minutes. Now, there are a few choices when you're deciding how long this would allow. What happens is the camera turns off at that time. It's not a warning, that's how long they have. So some value in, for instance, saying, well, you have a minute and 30 seconds to introduce yourself. They must be very concise. They do not have to have 1 minute, 30 seconds, but they can have up to. If you have a more involved report, maybe it's a business plan, something like that, maybe you want to give 5 minutes or 10 minutes. However, again, that conciseness, you could say you have 3 minutes to make your elevator pitch. Whatever your purpose is for your assignment, you could choose this time accordingly. You also have settings availability here. In the settings, you can choose if it's currently an active topic so that when anyone signs into this group, they will see this topic. It can be view only. This is important if you have some content there, or for instance, if now you've turned off the topic, you don't want any more contributions to the topic, but you still want people to access the information. Or it could be hidden because you're not ready for it yet. You create it in advance, you're planning, you're a planner. So you made it, but you just don't want anyone to see it yet. You could hide it. You have a start date over here if you'd like it to be available at a certain time, an end date when it would turn off. You can decide if you need to moderate. So do you need to approve every video before it's available to the group? Again, you can change the recording time here. You can also choose if students get to make video or text comments. So in this Flip environment, after I've created this introduction topic, one of my students can create a video that introduces themselves. The opportunity with this is students can respond to them. These are your choices here. Can they respond with video and text? Are you forcing them to make videos? Forcing them only to respond with text? Are you not allowing them to respond at all? Those are your choices there. Closed captions recommended, and typically English would be the one that we need, but you might be inspired now to use it in some of your foreign language classrooms, that if you are teaching Spanish, for instance, perhaps they need to speak in Spanish, so the captions would be in Spanish. You have response settings as well. When someone is responding, do you want to let them add attachments? So for instance, maybe they are responding with thoughts about a lesson plan that they wrote. You might want to let them actually link that lesson plan here. Do you want other people to be able to like their video? This is a touchy topic. So sometimes people might feel sad if their video is not liked. You decide what you think. I usually leave it off. You could also allow students to download videos and share them. I usually leave that off as well. What we're doing in our course is for our course, but you might have other reasons that they could do that, if it's for their portfolio or something like that. And again, you can display the view count, how many people have actually looked at their video. If you have an expectation for everyone to watch every video to interact with it, you might keep that display count on there. It might be a quick reference for you, although it's not necessarily every unique view of the video. So you decide if you want that there. You can choose settings for the camera. So when we're making these videos, there will be certain options here. I'm going to leave them on because we'll be able to see how a video is created. Expressions, students can use fancy lenses or filters. They can include a virtual backdrop. This might be very important for some students who are recording in an area in which they prefer not to show their house maybe, but a backdrop would be important. Also, you can use backdrops that are strategically designed to complement the video. For instance, displaying a PowerPoint behind them that they've created, or an image that they've created so that they can refer to it in their video. And you can also allow sticky notes while recording. The reason I like to use sticky notes is sometimes if I have a script, I will write it on my little sticky note and I'll put it up on my screen so that I can read it during the video, or I can have my talking points to ensure that I meet each of the requirements for the video. A guest password, it's optional. This is really, see how it says it's a password for families? That's for that K-12 world, right? But for instance, I mentioned a business plan earlier. Perhaps you would have 2 or 3 members of industry who would come in and could give comments based upon those business plans. Wouldn't that be exciting to have some guest experts be able to come in and join the topic and interact with everyone? That might be another reason why in higher education you might use a guest password. So once you've selected all of those, you say save changes, and you can see what this looks like. Your very first opportunity is to get your group started, and even though you're the instructor, I am recommending that you create that first response for a couple of reasons. One, who wants the first piece of cake before the cake is sliced, right? People are, oh, it's pretty, I don't want to wreck it, or I don't want to take that first piece out, make it, look messy. So I say, let's jump in and get messy. Once that first slice is cut, then more people are willing to eat the cake. All right, here we go. So if you are the person who creates the first video, there's a couple of reasons to do that. One, get everyone started. 2, helps everyone get to know you just a little bit better, and to see that you're willing to take these chances to be recorded, to be part of the course, to be part of that class. And additionally, it builds your presence, and you can model what the response ought to be like, kind of the tenor of the response, or how they would include information. So that is one thought. Okay, we're going to add our first response here. Now, what's going to happen is, because I'm using Zoom right now, it's going to say that it can't access my microphone, my camera. So I'm just going to go over to Zoom and kind of stop that video over there. I'm going to allow access to my camera and video, and you'll see that I'll pop up there. Hello. All right. Now, you can see it doesn't have the pretty cool Zoom filters that we have. So let's hurry up and put a filter on there. I can choose lots of different colors of filters if I like them, or you don't have to be able to use a filter. Those are your choices there. And you can see that there are lots and lots of choices. There's even pixelated choices. If you have someone who's a little less comfortable on camera, and if you as the instructor really cares more about what they have to say than what you would see, then this might be a viable option. Okay, so let's close that. The other thing that we have here is that backdrop. So for instance, if they are, they have lots of backdrops that they can choose from here. If you are a Flipgrid user, you will notice that some of these are very new. You will notice that these choices change often. So you can see this is what one backdrop could look like. I can also add my own photos to this. So if I had an image that I had created a plan for how to solve a math problem, I might have it displayed behind me so that I can refer to it and point out options in my screen. You can see that I can use the screen as well. If I have something that I've created, a PowerPoint, for instance, I can use my screen as a backdrop, or I can have just a blur as my backdrop, whatever is most comfortable and works the best for us in this situation. Or I can have no backdrop, whatever I'd like. The way that we can make our videos is with this button here. When we click on that button, we get a countdown for our videos. Now we're beginning our video. You can see here's the countdown for the video length. I have 1.5 minutes. It's nice because I can see right here that my time is passing and how much I have left. I do have some tools on the side. I can add some text to my video. Well, and actually what I'll do is watch this. I'll hit stop, and then I'm going to add some text to my video, and maybe I'll add to here, I'll add sample video. Now you'll see that there are lots of ways that I can edit that as well. Here's my color. I can decide that no, actually I want blue, or I want red or orange, yellow, whatever. Once I've done that, I can drag it to different parts of the screen. I can change the size. I can copy it. There's lots of things that you can play with when you're editing it. I can write on the screen so that I can say, pay close attention to this writing right here. I could put a sticker on the screen if I want to talk about reading books, for instance. Other choices that I have are GIFs, and I can add frames to the video. Some of these are just for fun. There isn't as much of the academic purpose for them, but some of them are just interesting. So I would see that they might be used more for introductory videos rather than for more of your academically based. And you see there are several other tools here as well. One that I think that I did want to show you is the board. So for instance, if you put a dot grid up, you can choose if it is half of the screen or a third of the screen or all of the screen. And then when you have the board there, then remember we have the drawing tool. So someone could talk about how they can solve a problem, and they can draw. I can see this for maybe certain math reasons or for some design ideas. And again, you can see I just drew all of these things. And then I can click go with the video again. Now it's recording again. Because I had paused it, that's why I'm not getting the 3, 2, 1 countdown. I'm going to stop it one more time. And then I will hit next. You can see I still have 52 seconds left, but it's okay. I can decide that I'm done. Hit next. Now I get the opportunity to edit my video.
Now we're beginning our video.
I can add music. I can split a video. There's lots of opportunities for this. It's not a robust editor. So it does, for instance, if I decide, well, I want to split here, I'm going to split this. Now, do you see how I have 2? Now I can go to the second one.
Now it's recording again.
And I can decide that I want to make this and just a little bit different. That's where I like to go. And I'm going to confirm. Now you'll see that that section is a shorter part, a smaller part of what I've done. But you can also see, remember how I pause it here. And then I added the screen.
I'll hit stop. Go with it.
And then you can see that it magically, all of this information magically appeared when I hit record again. You can see that now my video is only 30 seconds long. If I wanted to be able to edit it any further, I can click on this one. And I can decide I want to shorten that one down to here. That was where I stopped saying something nice, something that was important. I can click in it to be able to hear that part again if I want to check it. And when I'm done, I can hit confirm. And you can see that my whole video is only 18 seconds long now. So you can edit within as well. This split idea is nice. That wasn't always there. It used to be I'd have to record in different segments, but now I can make those segments. Yay! If I decide I had one more thing to say, and I do have time left because I have 1 minute and 30 seconds, I can add one more. I can record my screen. For instance, if I want to demonstrate something, I can upload a video, or I can add another clip. If I add another clip, it lets me record again. And let's get rid of the frame just so you can see some difference. And we'll go to the board and we'll move and we'll clear off the board. Oh, that's kind of fun. But I can kind of move that out of the way if I want to. Hit record. And that is it. Now I got that 3, 2, 1 countdown again because I had stopped and gone out of this. It wasn't merely paused. Next. Now you can see that I have 3 segments. And again, I can add music. You have lots of things you can play with here. Oh, I forgot to show you the sticky note. Here's my sticky note. I can write a script there so that I can read it. I can move it over underneath the camera so that now I can read it and look mostly at the camera. So that is the nice part about that. After you have edited your video, you can hit next. You can add a caption that says, "This is me," for instance. If you had a link to a video example, a website example, something like that, you could. This is the cover picture. You can edit it. You can select a frame from your video, one that you particularly liked. Some of these might not be the best one. That might have been the best one. You can confirm it and say that I like that. Yep, sure. You could also edit a little further. You can take a new selfie. If you have a favorite photo, you can upload a photo. You could add just a name tag so that it only has your name, and you can, of course, style it the way that you would like to. And that's how it would appear. Or if you take a selfie, it lets you go ahead and put filters back on there again. And you can add the backdrop that you would like. You can decide if you're in the corner, up near the top, or if you're right in the middle. You can add stickers at this point. For instance, if you think that you should wear sunglasses for your picture, and you can put those on your face. Again, it's just really having some fun. And then you click snap. Oh. And you can decide if you like that or not. If you do, that's what your picture would look like. Students have a lot of fun with that. But anyway, that just gives you an idea of different things that you can do. And then you post to the topic. Go to topic. And now you'll see that a video has been added to our topic. Now, remember how we had that code so that you could share it? Maybe you haven't shared it yet. We'd like to be able to know how to share it now. We can go up to our join code, copy that code, or we can. Now, it might be interesting to see how you could create a page in D2L. What I'll recommend to you is, at the very least, you would have a page created in D2L that you have used with the basic template. So you'd go to templates version 5, and you would go to content templates at the very least and use a basic page. The reason why is there's lots of information in these templates that help to keep your page beautiful and usable when you are inserting things. Of course, this could also be a page that you've already created in your course. I'm recommending you use the templates just for that consistency's sake, but this is how you would embed this into one of your pages. So if I go back up to this group here, and the way that I would want to be able to share this is I can share this. I'm going to show you first embedding it. This is this little pink part here. We're going to click copy embed code. Then I'll go to my D2L page. Perhaps I have already typed here, introduce yourself with Flip. Look below to introduce yourself. Then this little symbol that has 4 pictures, a triangle, a circle, a square, and 2 lines, the sideways equals, it's insert stuff. We'll choose the insert stuff button. We're going to scroll down to enter embed code. When we get there, we have copied from Flip the embed code. So all I have to do is paste it in here, whether that's a right-click paste or a Control-V paste or a Command-V paste. Next. It will probably tell you that it's blocked. So you want to click Allow, and I would choose Always Trust this URL so that way it does open. And then once it has processed it, you'll see that that your Flip will be right inside your page. Insert, and there we go. You can see that it has been inserted right into the page. We'll save and close. And here's the opportunity with Flip. Flip information in the video. This is interactive, and your students can click add a response right there. You do have another option. When you are in Flip, you can also copy the link. When you're in your page, you can choose the chain link here, insert quick link. Then scroll down to URL. We're going to insert a URL. I just pasted it, so I just copied it, so I'll paste it into the URL, and I'll give it a title. Direct link to Flip for introduction. It's good to have it open in a new window, insert. So now students also have this direct link. I probably wouldn't just leave that there. I would give it some directions. If you prefer to use Flip directly, then click the direct link for Flip to leave your introduction, something like that. But you can see how you can add a link here. It might be good practice to have both available for students so that they can see. But you'll see when I hit save and close, when it's embedded, students can interact with it right inside of D2L and do not need to go anyplace else, and they'll see the video. They can watch my video, respond to my video, or they can record their own response, which is what we really want them to do. And they could even use, this direct link to get to Flip. So there's a couple different ways that you can share it. Thank you for joining me for this beach party with Flip. And also, thank you for participating and for thinking of some new innovative ways that you can help your students communicate with you, contribute to your course in ways that are engaging and powerful. Take care.